Yo, what's going on YouTube, and welcome back to another Stomping Land video. So this time I am going to do a quick guide to show you some basic survival tips. If you haven't seen my last video, I kind of just jumped into the game and I started sort of doing like a little series, so running through just sort of the grand big world, trying to survive, hunt dinosaurs and all that crazy stuff. So if you just want to sort of see my first experience with the game and see how much of a noob I was at the start, then head over and check out episode 1. But for the time being, basic survival techniques. So when you start in the game, you will start and spawn invariably on a beach, and you'll have just your trusty axe. Now, the lucky thing is you always have this, you don't have to kind of go and find it, so it's not quite as brutal as, say, DayZ when you start with absolutely nothing. But yes, this axe can be used to chop things. Now, you can chop pretty much everything, well, I say pretty much everything. The things you'll need, so you can chop trees, and that will give you wood. Yes, I know, I just said that. You can also chop rocks, and that will give you stone. And what you want to do is, the first thing is, imagine it like Minecraft. If you want to start crafting things, you need to have a crafting table or a kind of box in this one. And what you do is you do that by combining two pieces of wood. So you go up to a tree, chop the first piece of wood and drop it on the floor. You can either do that by pressing E, or you can just press left click and you'll just drop it. Go and chop a second piece of wood and drop it on top, and you'll see that it turns into a box. That box is now going to be the basis for most of your crafting. So what you then do is you start putting things inside that box. So you go back to the tree and you start chopping wood, and you go walk over to the box, let go, drop it in, and you'll see that the box gets bigger. Every single time you put something in, it gets bigger and bigger. There is a cap. I believe you can put 20 pieces of wood in this box. But also you can mix it up, so you can use this as storage for different things, because you can obviously put meat in it, you can put stone in it, you can put wood in it. Later on, if you get things like herbs and stuff, you can probably store them in there. There's a lot of different things that you can put in there, but the point is this is now your storage box. You can make as many of these as you want. And as and when you start building a campsite, you're going to want to sort of put these around. You know, I imagine once I start actually building something more substantial, I will set up kind of like a storage box for food, storage box for wood. Again, bear in mind that if you're playing online, people can steal these. But anyway, that's aside. Also with these boxes, you can pull them. So if you know, for example, instead of running over, say, a rock and then running all the way back and putting it in, click E on the box, select pull, and you'll see that there's like a long piece of kind of rope between you and the box. When you walk, you'll drag it behind you. This is really handy because if you want to start gathering things quickly, basically turn to the rock, attack it to get your, or kind of craft it to get your wood out. Craft it to get your stone out, turn around, drop it in the box, turn back, craft again. And this is a really, really quick process, because if you want to start building things quickly, you don't want to spend half your time tracking back and forward. So once you put things into the box, you put enough stuff in. You know, if it's just wood, there'll be a certain number of things you can make. If you mix it between wood and stone, you can make more. But then once you've got enough stuff in the box, press E on it, and you'll see that as well as the usual pull option and the option to bring the, or to kind of pull the materials out, so you can take the wood out, take the stone out, all that kind of stuff. There's also these options on the right, and these are the things you can now craft. Now, bear in mind, it doesn't matter how much stuff you put in a box. If you craft from a box, you will then use it up. So, you know, for example, if you're only planning on crafting a spear, you know, just put in the bare minimum stuff. Don't go, you know, grabbing stuff for ages, because otherwise you'll lose all of it. But it's quite simple. All you do is, once you've got the things you want, you click on the item you want to build, and then your character will start building it. You'll see this kind of green sort of mesh if you're building like a structure, and you'll see a progress bar. And once it's done, it's now in your inventory, and you'll see that the box is gone. So you then repeat the process. You go back, create a box, fill it with stuff, and you make different things. Now, the basics for survival. You will need, I would suggest for the time being, a spear, a shield, a bow, and you should also build a TP and a fire pit. Now, the TP is really, really good because this is like DayZ, and if you die, you respawn randomly in the world without all of your items. So you lose everything, and also the longer you stay alive, the more expertise you get. And if you die, you lose all your expertise. But we'll get to that later on. For the time being, if you build a TP, you can now respawn at that location. So you can imagine you can use this to build a base for yourself. Build a TP, build a fire pit, build a totem pole, build all these different things, and then before you know it, you've got your own kind of secret base, or, you know, public base, whatever you want to call it. But it's now a place you can then respawn at, which is really, really handy, especially if you're going to go around, you know, gathering loads and loads of materials, putting them all in your boxes. You don't want to suddenly spawn the other side of the map and then not know where you're going, because you can easily get lost in this game. So, build a TP. That's one of the first things I would recommend. Secondly, create a fire pit, because you do need to eat meat to stay alive. You will kind of start to die eventually. So, what you want to do with that is build your fire pit near your TP, and in order to cook food, you have to go and hunt dinosaurs. Now, this is where the spear, the shield, and the bow come in. Now, if you're fighting small dinosaurs, you'll find that two or three arrows will probably kill it. So, as you can see in the one that I did here, I got the bow and missed the first couple of shots, but shot it with 2 clean arrows and it fell down and it died. That is a small dinosaur. Once you've done that, you can go up to it, and just like with rocks and with wood, you basically attack it, and that will craft it, it will salvage it, and you'll get meat out of it. Now, this one here, I can get 2 pieces of meat out of. I dropped the first one on the floor, but you can get the meat out, and you can, again, put it in your box because it's a storage box, or you go over and you take the meat to the fire pit, drop it on the fire pit, and then you press E on it, and you begin lighting the fire. Then leave it for, I think it's about a minute. I know it's not very obvious at the moment, you don't actually see a fire, but believe it or not, the fire is going. And you'll see that eventually the pink meat turns red, and then it's edible. And then once you eat it, that will then replenish your health, replenish your stamina, whatnot, and you're then good to go again. Small dinosaurs give you small meat, and big dinosaurs give you big meat. So, they are a few things you want to bear in mind. But yeah, from the start, this is just a basic survival guide. So, you're going to need a TP, so you can respawn, a fire pit, so you can cook your food to stay alive, and something to defend yourself. The spear is kind of your all-round weapon, but obviously you do have to be close with that, and your bow is obviously your range weapon, but your bow does come with a kind of pre-made number of arrows, and once they're out of them you have to sort of craft some more. So for the time being, yeah, bow is good to kind of sort of pull things, because you'll notice that some dinosaurs, the one that I thought did actually, it is kind of an aggressive one, it will come towards me, but some of them they do run away, so that's when your bow is useful. Also, don't forget that if you're playing online there will also be other hunters, and just like Daisy, they're not all friendly, so sometimes you need to be ready to kind of defend yourself. That's probably when the shield would come in handy, but for the time being, yeah, if you're looking to kind of sort of keep it minimal, then spear and bow will kind of do everything you need to at the beginning. And that's pretty much it for the basic survival guide. So yeah, somewhere to spawn, somewhere to eat, something to defend yourself, and then you're good to go. After that, obviously, we now then need to start taking a look at how to hunt dinosaurs, how to make dinosaurs friendly so you can ride them, and then invariably how you can then use that to then go and take on bigger dinosaurs. Because if you try and fight a big dinosaur on feet, you're probably not going to do it. So you're going to need that backup, you're going to need to be able to tame a dinosaur and use it to help you. This was just a basic survival guide, so hopefully you find it helpful, and hopefully now you know how to get the basics of the game down, and you know how to sort of like, at least begin surviving in the world. The important thing is stay alive as long as possible, because all while you're alive you're building expertise, and the expertise allows you to do more later. For example, at the beginning, I'll go into this more detail later, but at the beginning you kill dinosaurs, you salvage them, later on you'll have the ability to revive them, and that's how you make them friendly. But that all comes with expertise, so do be careful with your life, don't do silly things, because if you die, you lose your expertise, and it's game over. Anyway, that is it. So hopefully you found this helpful, and if you did, as always, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, hit the like button, and show your support. It does really help me out. Obviously, don't forget to subscribe if you have not already, so you can stay up to date on all of our latest videos, and be sure to stay tuned to the Arekkz Gaming Facebook and Twitter pages for all your updates throughout the week. Lastly, don't forget to add me on various different platforms: Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, Twitter, Wii U, whatever you want. Arekkz is always the ID, and be sure to go and check out episode 1 of my Stomping Land series. So, anyway, thanks for watching. Peace out.